gonna sing the kindergarten good morning song. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. We're all in our places with bright shining faces. Oh, I probably need a nap and it's only 10 a.m. Good morning, y'all. Hey, Matt, how you doing this morning, young man? Wow, you're watching on the down low. You need me to whisper? Well, you'll notice that I'm not out on my porch. I had to come to town early this morning, so there was no point in driving back home. So here I am at the warehouse, so you'll hear, ripping boxes and tape and all that stuff in the background instead of the cattle and the birds. Good morning, Maggie. Hey, Miss Joyce. Hi, Suzanne, Mimi, Patricia. Michelle, good morning. And I hope y'all are all having a great Monday so far.
My bad.
And you'll hear Jesse's pump beeping too. Hi, Mitzi. Aw, thanks. I have the big size this morning. The travel size. Hey, Amy and Janice. Hi, Miss Betty.
Good morning.
Debbie Rabinovich said she's going to have Jesse moo every now and then. That's funny. Good morning, Dee. Hey, Dawn Morel. How are you? Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that.
Fat?
No, she's not calling you fat.
Okay.
She's trying to be funny. Hi, Tom Tom. Tommy says hi to you too, Jesse. Hi, Carrie, Kimberly, Joan. So, this morning's subject is a tough one for a lot of us. It's been requested a number of times for a while. We did talk about it at one point, probably about a year or so ago. But I've had recently 6 requests to cover this subject. So we're going to talk about forgiveness. Ability to, ability not to, why it's important, that kind of thing. Hey, Dana Downs, how are you, my favorite stalker? Holly Han, good morning, Miss Kay. You as well. Good morning, Miss Georgie Lee. We are doing wonderful. Today is a good day. Miss Kimberly, hi, Debbie. She should have said you should cluck every now and then. Good morning, Ramona Boudreau. How are you? Thank you. We're doing all right. Vicky, you're out fishing on Mondays? How fun for you. Hi, Miss Avenel. Okay, so shall we get going? Good morning, Marie. I did have a nice weekend. Those of you that asked, it was Saturday was a good day. Yesterday was a stay in bed day for the most part. But Saturday was a great day. I felt really, really good. And I can tell the medication that they added has not gotten rid of, but minimized the pain. So that's good. Good morning, Jan Brown. Hey, Donna. Hey, Stacy. Oh, I know, Amy. You know, health issues get in the way for a lot of us. And believe me, I had a lot of money invested in that to have missed it. But it is what it is. Good morning, Marie. And tell Mr. Bill hello, too. So, forgiveness. Are y'all ready for this?
Sorry, go ahead.
Good morning, Miss Jean. How are you? First of all, forgiveness basically means letting go. If you go back to either the Hebrew or Greek definitions of it, it would mean letting go. Letting go is probably one of the most difficult things we humans have. Sometimes we don't let go of things that hurt us even, because we have such a struggle. Look at that. Such a struggle with that. And forgiveness can be, good morning, Sheila and Kathleen. Good morning, Ruben. How are you all? It's good to see you too, Ruben. Thank you. It could be a minor thing that you have to forgive, a family member or friend. It could be a major thing. It could be a heinous sin committed against you that you have to forgive. There's so many levels, and some are easier to let go of than others. All right, Jan. Well, I'll see you tonight at Chit Chat anyway, I hope. Hey, Miss Mary. Sharoda. Hi, Wendy. Good to see you. Good morning, Marla and Cynthia. If I miss you, just say something and I'll catch you somewhere along the way. Good. Yeah, it is easier to forgive than forget. And I don't think we're expected to completely forget. You know, forgiving someone doesn't mean that you're minimizing the wrong they committed against you. It doesn't mean that you're condoning it. And it also doesn't mean that you have to pretend like it didn't happen. In a friendship, perhaps a friend broke a confidence, and you have to, if you want to continue that friendship, and the first thing you do, y'all, if possible, depending on the situation, of course, you have to have that conversation. Like in the case with a friend, you would have to say, hey, you broke a confidence. Why would you do that? Perhaps it was unintentional. Perhaps they had a good reason. Perhaps they did not have a good reason, or it was intentional. Either way you go, have the conversation, and at that point you can decide if this friendship or relationship is, if you want it to continue. One of the things we forget when we're in a close friendship where they have all of our confidential information is that they're human too, and they're going to make mistakes, and we can't say that we've never broken a confidence of someone's, whether it was intentional or not. So first thing is to remember that we're all the same. We're all human. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to hurt people we love, and we're all going to cause pain to others at some point, some way. It could be a simple word we said. It could be a face we made at somebody. It could be anything that hurts someone else's feeling. Good morning, Retta. Hey, Denise Pugliese, how are you? Hey, Misty. Yes, Kimberly, isn't it truth? Forgiveness is very freeing. But whether you intend to continue this relationship or friendship or not, you have to forgive. I heard a sermon once. Oh, these little fruit flies. I heard a sermon once given, and I've told you all about this before, I believe, where people stab you in the back and they moved on. They're busy over there stabbing somebody else in the back now. They've already forgotten about you and what they've done to you, but you keep reliving it and going over it and over it. So you're the one who's pulled that knife, and now you're stabbing yourself over and over and over, causing pain that you don't need to have. That person is done with you. They don't care. And if they do, hopefully they've asked for forgiveness and given a sincere apology. And that too is an important part of it. Good morning, Teresa and Lisa. Have they apologized? When somebody apologizes and we say, oh, it's okay, it's kind of telling them you've forgiven them. But have you? That's something only you can know and only you can take care of. That's something you really have to pray a lot about. I know I do. I've had some pretty serious things in life where I had to figure out how to forgive. And very often I had to figure out how to forgive, not to do anything for that person that hurt me, but for my own good. Kimberly says, my sister held a grudge and didn't talk to me for 5 years over something my 18-year-old son said to her. Oh, wow. That's awful. I hope y'all have worked that out, Kimberly. Misty says, unforgiveness keeps yourself in bondage. Forgiveness is freedom for yourself, not about them, and it is hard. And that's the thing. If something is hard for us to do, we kind of shy away from it or put it aside. You know, like in a marriage, if one or the other spouse is unfaithful, that's a betrayal. That's deep hurt. and it could be the man or the woman. So if I say he in here, I'm not talking, because women betray their marriages as well, or are unfaithful to them. That's a deep personal hurt. Can you forgive it and move on in your marriage? Yeah, you can. The thing about forgiving something like that hurts us so deeply is that we have to get past the hurt part for a moment. We have to have the discussion with the spouse. We have to decide, do we want to repair the marriage? Can we forgive? Will this be a continuous unfaithfulness? Those kinds of things. But many marriages have survived betrayal like this. Many have survived adultery. And it's up to the couple. If that happens, if you are the one hurt or betrayed, part of forgiveness is you can't say, I forgive you, let's work this out, and you begin to live together again. You can't constantly throw it in their face. You can't say, but yeah, you did this over and over throughout the marriage, because then have you really forgiven? No, now you're getting even. And that's not a good thing either, is it? Debbie says, forgiveness is a face your fear situation. Fear it happening again, fear to be hurt again, fear to put yourself at risk again. Absolutely. Absolutely. So in many cases, you have to think about that. Do you feel like you're putting yourself at risk for hurt again when someone hurts you that way? Good morning, my little cupcakes. Or are you able to forgive and not carry the resentment into that relationship? Because the resentment kills y'all. It does. There really isn't hope for any real relationship. No one is going to forget unfaithfulness or betrayal. No one. That's not human to even. It's not our ability to completely forget. But forgiving is not necessarily forgetting. Forgiving is letting go. So when you get to the point where you need to forgive for you. Because as several of you have mentioned here, it's freeing. Free at last, right? Let's see. Vicky says, forgiving my ex, those flies. My ex is something I did for me because hating was eating me from the inside out. Absolutely. It was only hurting myself carrying that around. Once I let it go, let's see, I could carry on with my life and be free and happy. Isn't that a beautiful thing, Vicky? Because, sometimes what we do by not forgiving is we're giving up our power. The power to forgive, for one, but the power to have that happy life that we're supposed to have. And resentment and lack of forgiveness can make us be bitter. And nobody wants to be around bitter. Oh, Matt, us too. 13 weeks? Stop it!
Don't tell me that.
Pam Lane, good morning. Good morning, Carrie. One of the subjects that was brought up by someone who requested this subject was having been a victim of, I don't even know if you're allowed to say the word on a live, rape. And she said she can't find a way to forgive. And she's sure that other people need to learn about forgiveness as well. Good morning, Kathy, Nadine. Georgie says, I will never forgive my twin brother. He disowned me, also saying if I see him, don't speak or look his way. He was ashamed of me, so I asked him, does he mean what he says? He said yes. Oh. I let God love them and let them go. It is important to learn from our lessons. Once is enough. Absolutely. In the case of a heinous crime or sin against you, male or female, you have so much emotional hurt involved in a situation like that. You feel like you've lost your power because something's been stolen from you. And it will take time. Nobody expects someone to forgive one moment to the other. We're not God. We don't have that ability in those cases. I also believe that God understands our inability to forgive in situations like that. Here's my concern for those of us who have had those types of sins committed against us, is that, it's going to fester if we allow it to. We have lots to go through. You have to get counseling. You have to go past the initial stuff that is evolved around those kinds of things. So once you get to that next level where it's like, where it's still eating at you, and your anger and your hate, understandable, and your disgust and all of that for that person who committed this impropriety with you, can start to eat away at you. It'll fester, like a really bad infection that you don't take care of. That is what worries me. Not whether that other person is forgiven or not, but if you are able to forgive, you're not going to ever forget something like that. It frees you from some of that ugliness that you can't help but feel. Missy says, forgiving is so much easier than forgetting, but we have to forget to keep moving forward to make peace. We do. There's a certain level of forgetting. My ex was a narcissist, and I endured abuse for a long 6 years. He finally cheated and gave me the divorce I had been begging for. It took me several years of therapy, and get to see more. There it is. Several years of therapy to finally forgive. I forgave for me. I still deal with PTSD, and the hate for him wants to rear its ugly head. Thank God for being my rock, or I wouldn't make it from today. Denise says, you will never forget, but if you can forgive, it makes your life easier. And that is exactly it. Listen, I go into greater detail in the book about this, but I will touch on this subject because I don't speak as a psychiatrist. I speak from my own experiences in life. Most of you do not know that I was molested by my stepfather as a young person back in the early 70s. Back in a time where you didn't tell. We didn't know these things were bad or wrong. We didn't see posters. We didn't get talks at school about it. None of that. It wasn't a thing. I thought it was because of me, that it was my fault, that I was bad, that I invited it some way, somehow, as a child. There were so many things that goes into that, because what he did is he stole my innocence. He stole something very personal, very private, that we all hold dear until we choose to let go of that. It took me, let me count how old I was, and almost 30 years, y'all. Almost 30 years to be able to truly forgive. I let him back in my life afterward, because remember, at that time I was still blaming me. I thought I was the person at fault. And I let him back in my life when I was a young mom. And he was still not a very kind person. And what hurt me so badly too with him, having been him, is, y'all, I thought he walked on water. I worshiped the ground that man walked on. And that was a hard bridge to cross. To understanding, one, he didn't deserve that worship. And two, that how could he say he loves me and be like that and take that, right? But for years, I blamed myself. And once I finally understood that it wasn't my fault, yeah, some counseling helped with that, and was able to move to the next step, then I had the struggle of, do I forgive? Now you have to know, he never acknowledged to me what happened. He told people that I accused him of things, but he never acknowledged it. No apology, nothing. We do not have a relationship, by the way, nor do I want one. But I had to get to the part where I was able to forgive. And I'll tell you, I read an article somewhere, I wish I still had it, that told me, gave me permission not to have to forgive something like that. And knowing that I was okay, that I was worthy, that I could still be forgiven by God, even though I hadn't forgiven Dad, I didn't think I was forgivable for any wrongs I may commit because I couldn't forgive. Well, I discovered that was not the case. God understands. So, knowing that took so much pressure off my shoulders that I was able to forgive. Not for him, for me. For me to be able to say, okay, he did what he did. He was wrong. It was not my fault. He screwed me up for years, yes. But I forgive you. Not to his, I didn't tell him. I said it to me in one of my mirror talks that I forgave him. And I truly did. Do I resent him? Not anymore. Not anymore. Did I for a long time? Absolutely. And that's the part of forgiving. It's probably the hardest to let go of, is the resentment that comes with the hurt. But I was able to. And I'm so thankful every day, because I'm not sure what kind of a person I'd be now had I not been able to do that. Let me catch up on you guys. Hey, Sylvia. Hi, Liz. How are you? Been there, Carrie. I put up with it for 18 years. Wow, Patricia. Still struggle with forgiveness from time to time, but try now to just pick myself back up and dust myself off and get back to moving forward. Love that. Words of wisdom, woman. Good morning, Wanda. Hey, Micah. Vicky says, let's come in here. I read a lot of books on forgiveness, therapy, and the Bible. It was hard for a long process. I was in a controlling, abusive, cheating relationship. It was not an easy process and took a while, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel for anyone trying to forgive. My brain will never let me forget, but I forgave for myself. My story is long and crazy, and I actually took his child from another woman that was abused when he was 9 months. Oh, and he is now 13. Lots of problems, but we get through the day to day. Everyone thought my husband and I was crazy when we took his baby. I truly believe God had a plan in this situation. I truly believe you're one of the angels on earth, Miss Vicky King. That is beautiful that you did that. I don't like to read that much, but can't wait to get your book to read it. I would be honored to have it. Oh, Ramona, thanks. At the time, it was a nightmare, but now I thank God every day that my ex-husband left me. I agree with you. Good morning, Patricia. Amy, do you find you have surrounded yourself with friends that have been through the same and you didn't know it? Actually, yes. Good morning, Mary. Oh, let's see. My comments are doing that. Lori, oh, I know, Lori. I kept you in my prayers. Drea, I'm in the hospital, have been since Friday. They've decided that I have ruptured my 3 and 4 in my back, and I'm getting a nerve block on 3 later today. Please pray. Absolutely. And so, let's see. let me see what, Carrie, the preacher of the church I was going to basically told me that I had to endure the abuse and keep going because divorce is a sin. I told him I don't believe my Heavenly Father expected me to stay in that situation just to keep that from committing a sin. Ugh. I hate bad advice. But yes, in answer to your question, Amy, I've been very surprised, but, well, I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's not my story to tell, but I do have a very close friend who also suffered lots of abuse in her life. And we've been each other's rock, for years about, and discussed that, how we feel. Because sometimes, even when you have forgiven, the loss of whatever or the pain, it rears its ugly head every now and then. And you have to do, as was mentioned a moment ago, good morning. You just have to dust yourself off, pick yourself up, pull up them big girl panties, and try to make it through the day, because this too shall pass. Remember, this forgiveness in cases like this is more for you than for them. Yeah, Amy, I know. That's a sad thing, ain't it? That you have that sixth sense, almost sixth sense. Now, the other kind of forgiveness we have to think about is forgiving ourselves. I mean, sometimes we have done things wrong. Duh. We're not here. We're not perfect. We have harmed others in one way or another. We've said something we shouldn't have. I don't know. We stole a candy bar from the Walmart. Whatever. We've all done something somewhere along the way that wasn't right. Or we've had bad thoughts about something or someone, etc. Or we've gossiped harmfully. All kinds of things we could do. And we have a hard time forgiving ourselves because we're our worst critic for sure. But we have to find the ability to look in that mirror and forgive ourselves. Remember, you're human. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to say and do things that cause pain to others and pain to yourself. You're going to, you have made past mistakes that you think are so bad you can't be forgiven. You've already been forgiven, y'all. You just got to forgive you. Allow yourself the chance to move forward and get out of that hole that we tend to dig for ourselves when we do something wrong, even if it's a very long ago past wrong. I talk about some of the wrongs I've committed in the book, and I still feel bad for those things that I did, ways that I harmed people, whether it was intentional or not. But I had to come to a point of forgiving me so that I could move forward. There are those that I've apologized to and those that I have not. For some that I needed to apologize to, it was good. For those that I have not, it would cause more problem than the apology would be worth. But I have moved on and forgiven. And so we have to do that too. We have to forgive ourselves. And you know what? You have to forgive yourself for not being in a place to be able to forgive someone else yet. You'll get there. It takes prayer. It takes faith in you. It takes so much. It takes a lot out of us to let go and not harbor the resentments that follow. That's the trick. Yes, it is a survival skill. Sylvia, it'll be released the end of October.
They need to go to howtochoosejoy.com.
Go to, my daughter tells me, howtochoosejoy.com, and I think what does she do? Leave an email and then you let her know when it's released? There you go. howtochoosejoy.com. Right, Carol? She forgave and felt better. Good morning, Miss Francis. How are you? Good morning, Carla. Hey, Miss Becky. I got my bows. I'm so excited to use them, and when I use them, I'll make sure they know where they came from. Thank you, Debbie. Probably one of the more difficult things, and this isn't about being Christian or not being Christian. Although we are taught as Christian to forgive. Lisa says, I need to quit being so forgiving to continue to allow the abuse anymore. I can forgive his abuse and pray for him. Absolutely. And forgiving forgiving him doesn't mean that what happened is minimized or that he gets a pass, or that you have to pretend it didn't happen. That forgiveness is for you, Lisa, not for him. And yes, pray for him. The guilt is like a snowball going downhill. It can cause, y'all are so smart. It can cause so much self-destruction. Marlene, no, it's just, it would seem that way though, wouldn't it? I talk on subjects that I have experience in, and I went through a lot of therapy. Donna, that's probably the most difficult to forgive. Someone that will not take responsibility for their actions. But here's the thing. Their lack of taking responsibility is not on you. That's on them. The need to forgive is for you, not for them. Now, if you're at a place where you're able to forgive that person for whatever it is that they did, then by all means, grant them forgiveness. That doesn't mean forget. I worry about us wallowing in that hurt, that pain, that resentment. You can't choose joy if all of that is going on inside of you. You have to find a way to let go. So Donna, while I'm certainly not telling you that you're in a place where you're ready for that, for your sake, don't give them the power over you because of their inability to acknowledge. Don't allow that to take away your power, your ability to move on and forgive. Oh, you guys, I gotta go get x-rays on my back tomorrow. I'm hoping there's none of this y'all are talking about. Hi, Judy. How are you, Miss Demaray? Oh, that person has passed away. Wow. That's a great question. But again, that's one of the things if you are a believer, if you're Christian or a believer in a higher power or in God, that's something you have to give to God. If they never acknowledged what they did, and that my dad is going to be that person. He's well into his 80s. He is never going to acknowledge what he did and what pain and heartbreak he caused me. But I have to forgive him anyway. And I don't, like I said, I resented for a long time until I was able to let go of that. So Donna, forgive for you. They've already been judged as someone that's passed away. We don't need to know what that judgment is. They've already been judged. They've already been forgiven. Right now, go to God and ask him to help you. He will. He will. He asks us to forgive freely of one another, the way he freely forgives us. And by freely, it doesn't mean easy. It just means forgiving without requesting anything back. It's a title that we aren't 100% sure on. Jesse, help me say what I said. How to choose joy in uncertain times. There you go. Oh, good. Maybe I'll send you one. Vicky, if I remember. You have to tell me. I'll definitely read your book. And another amazing book is Healing from Hidden Abuse. It helped me and is more for being with someone who is a narcissist, sociopath, or psychopath. It talks about work, church, and personal situations. Just FYI, anyone looking for a helpful book. The name is Healing from Hidden Abuse. You know, I always like to read. I haven't been able to do that in a long time. Healing from Hidden Abuse. I bet it's on Amazon. Hey, Stacy. Hi, Miss Robinson. Oh, good. I'm so glad you did. Just right here where you are, you can watch it in replay. We always leave them on here. Jean. Oh, y'all. We got to keep Lori in prayer, man, that she doesn't have to have something else done today. That's true. I forget to tell people that, Debbie. Thank you. If you share this live to it shows up on your own page, and then you don't have to go tooling through my whole page every time. And there is healing in the forgiveness. It sets you free. You're free to practice joy. You're free. What you've done is, when in forgiving, especially in the worst of situations, you've eradicated, that's a big word, y'all, write it down, all that bitterness that we've sown down deep into our soul, that bitterness that's in our heart. And we have to remember that time is your friend in this. This is something time can help you with and heal. And effort. You can't just say, I can't forgive, and leave it at that. Put some effort into it, some thoughts into it, some prayer. Hi, Sandra Lee. How are you doing? Love your name. Love, love. I promise you, from my own experience of friends close to me, I wish I could tell you all their stories in the book. I have a couple of friends who wrote for me so that their stories can be included in a section in the book, so that you can see where letting go frees you up. Then it allows you to choose joy. It allows you to be the real you, because really the real you isn't that bitter person that you can become in your heart. That's not the real you. That bitterness comes from pain that we have to let go of, right? So all of that frees you up to be you and to be happy. Good morning, Bobby. Good to see you. Good morning, Robbie. You're not sick? Oh, you're just in for a visit. Well, good. I hope you're well. That's from Robbie Wood. Good morning, Ashley. So you can forgive y'all the worst of things. There is Loretta mentioned earlier. Her grandmother was killed by a gentleman who did not spend a long time in prison. Went on to live life, afterward. So several things there. She had to forgive a man she never met that killed her innocent grandmother for nothing. Her sweet grandmother. And then had to forgive the judicial system for sucking at their job. And then had to forgive that this man who murdered her grandmother was now walking the streets free. Now, this happened in the late 60s, I believe, or sometime in the 60s. But he got to live, and her grandmother did not. So there was a lot of forgiveness that had to go on, and a lot of letting go, and a lot of not resenting. Because if she had held on to that resentment, it would have been easy. Oh my God, he stole my grandmother. I missed years with my grandmother. So many things she could have taught me. She loved me so much. I loved her. I missed all this time. Those are reasons to resent. but she chose not to. And that's how she could be this loving, giving, free from, she's never forgotten, but free from the pain of not being able to forgive. Good morning, LaDonna. How are you? Yay! Extra prayers for you, Bobby, and your family. Oh, thanks, Becky. That's really kind of you. And that is part of the reason, all of this that we're talking about is part of the reason behind my decision. I've been told years, you should write this. You should write this. You should write. You could help somebody. And then, Coffee with Dre came along by accident. And right, Wanda? She certainly is. She certainly is. She couldn't be my best friend for over 40 years. And not be a loving and giving person. Because I'm a work. But it was because, y'all, you aren't going to believe some of the things that have happened in my life. From finding my birth father, to what happened with my dad, to a divorce, to the death of the 2 kids, and then all the happy stuff in between, the birth of my children, the having my daughter-in-law come into my life at a time when I really needed it, to grandchildren. I mean, so there's so much great and wonderful things out there, and we deserve to live the best life we can. And you can't live your best life if you're holding in all that pain and resentment. You just can't. You can fake it. You can think you're doing good, but are you really? That is why I believe in the in the morning mirror talk. Because it's really hard to lie to yourself when you're looking at yourself in the eye in a mirror. Talk to yourself about why you can't forgive. And see if some truth doesn't come out from you. And you'd be surprised that you probably would have the ability to forgive. Sherry says, keep my son on your prayers. He has forgiven his wife, but after 4 years, he can't forget the things that happened. How do you forget? You don't. You don't. What happens, though, is with time, he's in the beginning of all of this, so it's going to hurt, and it's going to fester and all the things right now. But with time, the pain she caused him will lessen, and he will be able to move past he will be thinking about it constantly. It'll still be there, because to forget is what? To have it happen again? Yeah, we can't really forget things. We're human. That's right, Wanda. I agree. I absolutely agree. We dwell on the bad and not recognize the good so much of the time is absolutely right. And why is that? It's because we're festering. We're allowing it down deep. Don't let it down deep. And again, minor infractions against us are easier to let go of. Cruelty, inhumane treatment, the unspeakable heinous crimes and sins that people commit against us, those are the ones that can completely destroy us if we allow it. See, that part's on us. That part is our responsibility. That's where we have to acknowledge this wasn't fair. Wasn't my fault. And what they did to me is not going to destroy me. Do not allow someone else's actions against you to destroy you. If you do, you've given up all your power. That's that power to be that incredible person, the person with strength and love and forgiveness in there. Live a grateful life. Be glad for what we do have. Absolutely, Brenda. Love it. He said he can't get it out of his head. They're still together. Oh, I thought she left him. Okay, he left her. Okay. We talked a little bit about this earlier. Sherry, something, not that. I mean, we don't need to know details. When a spouse is unfaithful to the other, can you forgive them and continue on in your marriage? Two things. Yeah, you can. You have to have the conversation with the spouse, of course. You have to determine, can you trust what they say? They have to prove it, you know. The other thing is, you can't keep throwing it in their face, because if you do, you have not forgiven. Now you're out to get even and hurt them back. Two wrongs don't make a right, remember? So if he wants to continue his relationship with her, if they belong to a church, I suggest, you know, maybe some pastoral counseling. If not, maybe some counseling, couples counseling, or individual counseling. Sometimes couple counseling sucks, but you both go get your individual counseling and you can work it out. Bless his heart for still being there. It's going to take time and it's going to take effort, and he's going to have to train himself. Again, it's back to him and back to us. Train himself to find the brighter side, to look for the finer things.
We're going to go get a coffee from the coffee shop.
Now?
Yes. Would you like something?
The door will be locked.
Would you like something?
No, I got coffee.
Okay.
Unless you want to bring me a Coke back from Chevron.
Okay.
Drive-thru. All right. Wait, Jesse, what's that? Hold on. Oh, please. I'll be Tammy for a minute. What's that drink I get when I don't put the coffee in?
The vanilla bean frap?
Yeah, that's what I want. A vanilla bean frap, no coffee. I don't like sweet coffee, y'all. Susan Galley, mine was, and I did. Is that what happened? What she used? Apple cider vinegar will collect up the gnats that we have flying around, Debbie said. Hey, Shauna, how's one of my inspirations in this world doing today? Oh, that poor boy. I'm so sorry. Lisa, his abuse makes my health issues worse, but I refuse to give him the best of me. I've come so far, focusing on, lost it. Focusing on doing my first boot sale this week and believing and loving myself. I believe in you, Lisa. I absolutely believe in you. I celebrate every step you're taking to move happily forward. So, oh, he has two beautiful children. Don't we sometimes just stay for the children? I think it might be harder for men to forgive as well, because men, as a rule, think with their mind instead of their heart, and we think with our heart more first, maybe not more. Sometimes loss happens through no one's fault, and that is so hard, but where faith comes in so hugely. Yes, ma'am. We don't have a Starbucks in our little town, but we have a little coffee shop that's just as good, if not better, in some ways. I have Virginia. Didn't I comment on it? That was so awesome. I must have commented on a page. I didn't comment to your deal to me. I saw it yesterday when I was feeling sorry for myself and laying around. I wasn't feeling sorry for myself. I wasn't feeling well. Yes, it was beautiful and so sweet. So sweet. I'm always talking about liking green flowers, not just the greenery. And Lori and Monkey and I are going to do a felt flower together in our private group on one day where we each do them. Well, we had two choices, burgundy or, I don't know, red, I think. I don't know. Purple. Burgundy or purple. Well, when she showed the colors, there was a dark green laying there. Well, I didn't know that was for the leaves, so I said I want the green one. So she picked on me about that. And so, all right. And, here, you know. She's sending me the green felt so I can make a green flower. I'll make burgundy leaves or something. Thank you, Miss Virginia. That was so sweet. Yeah, men's egos do get in their way. I don't know. I have a little bit of an ego sometime too. It was funny, wasn't it, Jean? It was so sweet. Yeah, no, that's gonna be interesting. And the hooker shoe live. Ooh, should I say that word? The high heel shoe live. That will be fun. Lori's like, I don't think I could do that. Yeah, you can. So y'all know that if you're having deep-seated problems from deep sins, harsh sins, or crimes that are committed against you, please seek professional help. I'm not a professional. I'm someone that's living proof that you can come through the most unimaginable pain and still live your best life, and still choose joy, and still find happiness, and still keep your power. Let's see. Marla, I'm sorry, I can't and will not forgive my so-called sister. My mom was doing dialysis and she would take her, while she would call her dumb and stupid because she would forget she had a sandwich in her purse for after dialysis to help her stomach. Well, it came down to Mom saying she was done doing dialysis because she was tired of getting yelled at. I then told her I would take her, but she had her mind made up, and that was it. Sadly, 3 months later, my mom passed away. Oh, Marla, I'm so sorry. Virginia, she's going to the Bahamas. I'm so happy for you. Maybe a little tinge of envy, but very happy for you. Marla, that hurts me. I can't even imagine what you must be going through still today. And again, I am not telling anyone what to do. I'm just saying I worry about those of us who have things we can't forgive, about what it will do to us, because it can hurt us forever, more than it needs to. And let me just say this. This was your mom. Please don't take this wrong or like I'm trying to be a know-it-all, but being a mom, even if my daughter's in this situation, even if my daughters could not find a way to be sisters the way sisters should, I would not want my daughter to be unable to forgive my other daughter. Because I know what that inability to forgive can do. Here's the thing. I told you, it took me almost 30 years to find a way to forgive my dad for what he did. It didn't cost a life. It just cost my innocence. It will take time. But I know that someday you're going to find it in your heart to forgive, not for her, for you. I'm not going to do this because I'm going to start crying in a second. LaDonna, I've really struggled with hurt for my church family over the last 2 years. So sad. And its effect on the body of Christ. I need to go back and listen to all this. Healing must begin within me. Yes, absolutely. When it isn't going to in the relationships. Thank you. Aw, you're so welcome, LaDonna. Listen, y'all, I in no way am trying to be a know-it-all. I pray before I answer some of these questions that are tough or respond. So just so you know that. I prayed a lot about this subject today because it's near and dear to my heart. Because I had to learn how to let go. And that's really the part of forgiveness that I want for us, is to let go of the way it can destroy part of us. That's it. This is not about the other person. This is about you. And pray. No matter what you believe. If you believe in God, great. If you believe in Allah, if you believe in some other higher power, turn to that, your faith in that, to find you, so that you can possibly live the best life. It's just another house to cook and clean. I'll take it. Take it. Sign it over. Wow, Marla, that's 10 years ago. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I am very sorry that your sister was that negative of a human being, that she did that to your mother, treated your mother the way she did. I'm so sorry for the loss of your mom. And for you, my friend, I am sorry at that place you are. And I just know that someday for you, you'll be able to forgive. You will. Don't stress about it. Don't let it eat at you every day. I didn't with my dad. And then one day, like I said, I read this article that said, God understands if you can't forgive. What? All this time I've been struggling because I thought God was angry with me and wouldn't forgive me because I couldn't forgive Dad. And now I find out God understands I'm a human being with deep feelings, and this person destroyed that. And now I can forgive? Oh, it was so freeing to know that I was okay. And isn't it weird how all that time I couldn't forgive until I found out I didn't have to? That's me, stubborn. Vicky, have to get off and go to my son's therapy appointment. Thanks for the great discussion today. I enjoyed it. Always love hearing others' way of coping and dealing with struggles. I do as well, and that's what Coffee with Drea is. It's an interchange of encouragement. It's all of us, not just Drea and her. Hey, Susan Brantley. The apple cider vinegar thing is funny. All right, y'all. So, I love your patience with me this morning. Oh, Ted, that's wonderful. I once heard that harboring unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It really made me think. Bobby, prayers with you and your family. Know that I love you guys. Hugs to each and every one. I will hopefully get to talk to you later. Love you, kiddo. Take care. So let's forgive and forgive often. Give yourself time. Know that nobody expects you. God doesn't. Nobody expects you to forgive overnight. It could take years. Wait a minute. Somebody just walked in the building. Oh my God, it's Sandy Loomis.
Your dessert person.
Oh my God, y'all. Miss Sandy Loomis just walked in the building.
Keep talking. I've been listening to you all the way down.
She's been... Well, forgive me for not getting up.
No, finish. Finish. Hi, everybody.
Sandy Loomis showed up. Wow. We've met before, y'all. It's just, we live quite a ways apart. Oh, you're so welcome, Teresa. Joyce says, hi, Sandy.
Tell Joyce hi.
Hi, Joyce. Well, you probably heard her. Oh, thanks, Jean. I appreciate it. Yes. No, my door wasn't locked. The girls forgot to lock it on their way out. They went to get coffee. Retta says, hey, Sheila, Susan, everybody's saying hi.
This is the closest she'll ever get me to alive.
I bet not.
I bet.
Look, here she comes. Walking down the street.
Hi, everybody.
that awesome? I'm so blessed.
And Jesse knew I was coming.
Yeah, figures. No wonder she asked me what my plans were.
Uh-huh.
Amy said, tell Sandy hi. I enjoyed meeting her at Wreath Makers Live. Amy Slocum. Everybody's saying hi. Isn't that cool?
That's cool.
That's very cool. Okay. So, let's remember that forgiveness is often more for us than the other person. That we need, but we do need to give ourselves permission to take the time required. Ted, even when you think it will never happen, don't give up. We recently had total reconciliation with our oldest daughter after 6.5 years of separation. God is good. Yes, He is. Great example, Ted. Great, great, great. Do your morning mirror talk, y'all. Talk to yourself. Elizabeth Ribbonleg said, you're important, Drea. I listened to you while showering.
I was driving.
Oh my
Had my
God,
iPad
that's
open.
funny. Oh. And Georgie Lee, what Elizabeth says is absolutely true, but I will tell you this. I know that someday, because I know you're a godly woman, I know that someday you will be able to forgive. It's just not now, and that's okay. Just work on you. Just being happy about you. Y'all, I got guests, so I'm going to go. It's actually time to go anyway. Y'all never, ever give up your power. The power to be that amazing human being you were meant to be. Don't give others your power by not forgiving when you're able. Note, when you're able. And don't allow the action of someone else to destroy you. That takes your power. And of course, I want you to always, always, always choose joy, y'all. Bye-bye. See you next Monday. Bye, everyone.